we are getting now the it's also so hard to have a class and at the same time to attend a meeting. Okay. So, okay. Can you hear me, class? Can you still hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So that is how you're going to determine the value of the angle and the tension, no? Just in case that you encountered that case. And you can also have the free body diagram. Actually, using the free body diagram is easier. Pero there are times that if, since we have done already with our trigonometry and other basic mathematics subjects, so it is also nice that we can observe all of those. So let us go to another case. The case here is the cable that is subjected to distributed load. So a while ago, we have only the concentrated load. So this time, if our cable is subjected to distributed load, we have to determine the let's say, again, yun gihapon na tension. Yun lang naman nakinala natin, tensions, okay? So, okay. So therefore, in order to have this, let's say, let us have an example. Diretso natin ang illustration by example. So let's say there is a girder which weighs and 850 pounds per feet, which is supported by the cable in the figure. So determine the tensions at A and B. So let's say tensions at point A and tensions at point B. This cable is supporting a girder. Let's say the girder of a bridge. Okay? So to get this, ang kukuhain natin is the lowest point. We're going to determine the location of the lowest point of the cable. There is no problem if our cable is symmetrical. Let's say, ang cable natin ay pantay, ano? Let's say there is the support here, another support here, because we know that the tension that at the lowest point is zero. Zero ang ating sag-ani. So, not tension is zero, but we have the slope here is zero. And it is at the midpoint. However, let us go over if this is a general na hindi natin alam kung lagi siyang, let's say, wherever. Let's say this is point A and somewhere here is our point B. So what we need to do is to locate this. So how to locate this? Let us have a variable. Let's say it is an x distance from one of the supports. And of course, if there is a span here, let's say the span is 100. So that is 100 over x. So, kini ang tawag nating class ay mga hangers. Ano? Engineering, technical terms, these are hangers. Okay? So, let us have the solution. The solution is to get the value of the origin of the coordinate that is established at point B. Ano siya? So, let's say at point B, from point B to point C, and point B to point A. X and X. Ano? So, let us have a solution. Gawa natin na solution na mas dali-dali. Okay, let's say this is the problem. Na, yan. So, say problem natin. This is point B. This is point A. Okay, say ating distance ani. This is 100. Okay, ana. 100 ana. And then, unsay ating uniformly distributed load. Na tayo uniformly distributed load to be carried. Here, we have, ang dadalhin niya, ay ani. This is uh, 850 pound per foot. That is 850 pound per foot. Okay, class. So therefore, kuhain natin si lowest point. Let's say this is point C, lowest point. So at this point C, kuhain natin si, let's say here. Kana siya ang, let's say, kini na lang gawin kong x, ano? This is my x. So therefore, kini class is 100 minus x. So therefore, dire, magkakaroon ako ng uniformly, what is, resultant load here. Let's say this is R sub 1, and then magkakaroon din dito ko ng R sub 2. Okay. So, ang gawin natin, let us get the free body diagram. Ani. Or pwede na naman natin makuha niya, no? Kining unknown natin din eh. Let's say this is AX, this is AY, and let's say we have here lowest point man eh, no? Let's say this is H na class, diba? So, ano ng ating AX and AY? No, makuha ba natin si AY? Okay, I think makuha natin si AY because we have 850 here. Pwede natin, no? We have here AY, natay diri ay BY. Di natin makukuha diretso. No, AY plus BY is 850 times 100. Maura good siya. Since we do not know, natay upat na unknown. AX, AY, BX, BY. So, kuhain muna natin. To get those, kuhunin natin si free body. No, let's say AC. Okay. Na. So, sa meron tayo dire, we have 850 times. Sa distance ne, this is 100 minus x. Na, okay? So, let's say this is figure 1. So, from figure 1, we have here, summation of forces horizontal is equal to 0, di ba? So, therefore, we have H minus AX is equal to 0, di ba? That is first equation. Another here, we have 850 times 100 minus x, di ba? Minus ne. Then we have ano siya, no? Plus AY is equal to 0. So that is another equation. Sa ating unknown, H, AX, and X, and AY. Madami yan. So there are 4 here. So kuha ulit tayo dire. So but then we have here, kuhain natin si free body diagram sa PCAS class. It will add sa ating equation. So let's say this is H, no? So we have here the tension here na tayo ay tension B, which we have here BX and we have here BY. So sa tayo meron tayo resultant load of R2. Anong R2 natin? R sub 2 is equal to 850 times X, no? And what is the distance here? That is X over 2. X over 2 ang distance ana, okay? So similarly, we have X over 2 here. So, okay, proceed ta. So therefore, pila ano natin dire? BX, BY. We know R sub 2, R sub 2 is still unknown because of the value of X as the value of H. So, madami tayong unknown. So, let us have here some equations. Let us have the equations here. Okay? Sa ating equations, summation of forces horizontal is equal to 0. Ano ragot tayo, class? Mamaya pwede tayo mag-moment kasi we need more equations. So we have here minus H plus BX is equal to 0, di ba? That is equation 3. Another, summation of forces vertical is equal to 0. So we have here minus R sub 2, then plus B sub y plus B sub y is equal to 0. So that is equation 4. So ang dami nating unknown. So how to deal with this? Let's say, kuhain natin si summation of forces horizontal. H minus BX. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, tas pila, 1 o'clock, for the public college. Oo, 1 o'clock po. Panel interview. So, hindi na ako makakapasok ng 1 o'clock yan. Sige. Sige po. Anyway, mga ano na lang po ito, mga concerns na lang po. Mga brief. Okay, sige. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, President, for the support. Thank you, Ma'am Beth. Salamat, Ma'am Ton. Ma'am Ton, next na yun ang atong kwan ba? That's my word. Ang cuts, Ma'am Beth, ha?
Okay, class. So let us now have the equations. Ano? Let's say equations. Unsay ating equations? Let's say equations 1 and 3. Unsay equations 1 and 3? Ano yung ating equation 1 here? We have h minus ax equals 0. H minus ax is equal to 0. Another equation, we have minus h plus bx. Minus h plus bx is equal to 0. So you see? So alam natin that we have ax, but we have ax is equal to bx, di ba? Ax is equal to bx. Okay. From the original figure. So therefore, we have h is equal to h, di ba? Alam natin that h equals h. So let us get first the value of uh, h. Kuhain natin, diri class. Pwede nating magkuha by getting moment. Kuha tayo ng moment, ani. Why do we need a moment here? Kasi dalawang ano natin dire. Makuha natin si value ng h. Okay. So let's say summation of moment at point A is equal to 0. Na tayo, no? Summation of moment at point A is equal to 0. Okay, so we have minus h. Ating ibalik diri ha. Ano siya? So let's say we have h here, natay diri ay r sub 1, natay diri ay ano siya, okay? So had na the 100 minus x. Oh, sabay aking ginawa. Kini ang aking x, ano? Kini ang aking x na ginawa, class. Ang ginawa ko din is my x. Kana ang ginawa kong x. So let's say this is x. So r sub 1 is equal to 850 times x. And this is x over 2. Kana aking x over 2. Okay? So therefore, summation of moment at point A is equal to 0. So we have here, this is h. Minus h. Okay? Plus, we have 850 times x over 2. Diba? X over 2 is equal to 0. Okay? So therefore, h is equal to 850x squared over 2. Kanang ating h. Let's say this is equation 5. Another, kung diri tayo class sa pikas. Pikas, ano siya? Kung sa ating h, ani. Let's say this is your h. And this is our r sub 2. Anong ating r sub 2? R sub 2 is equal to 850. So this must be, let's say, this is bx and this is by. So dapat kini ay L 100 minus x. Ano? 100 minus x. So r sub 2 is 850 times 100 minus x. So therefore, what is the value of h? Magkuha tayo ng moment dire. let's say summation of moment at point B is equal to 0. Okay, so therefore we have H minus R sub 2 times 100 minus X over 2 is equal to 0. So therefore we have H is equal to R sub 2. Anong R sub 2? 850 times 100 minus X. Hala, nakakuha ka na? Magbayad ako nimo. O sige. Ah, unya na ha, unya na. Okay. 100 minus X over 2 times 100 minus X over 2. Yan ang kanyang lumament arm. So therefore, H is equal to 1, no, 100, wala ning over, no, wala siyang over class. Wala ni. Yan. R sub 2 is 100 minus X lang. Okay? So therefore, we have here 850 over 2 times 100 minus X squared. So let's say that is equation 6. So i-equate natin ng 5 and 6, makuha natin si value na X. H equals H. So therefore, we have 850 X squared over 2. 850 X squared over 2 is equal to 850 100 minus X. 850 over 2, 850 minus X over 2. So therefore, makukuha natin klase X. So therefore, makukuha natin si X value. Upon getting the value of X, makukuha natin si H because by substituting the value of X from any of the equations in 5 and 6. And after getting the value of X, makukuha natin si R sub 2 or R sub 1 because that is R sub 2 is 850X and R sub 1 is 850 L, 100 minus X over 2, and R sub 1 is 850X. So upon getting the value of X, makukuha natin si R sub 1 and R sub 2. Upon getting the value of R sub 1 and R sub 2 class, makukuha natin si BY. Why? Let's say summation of forces or vertical is equal to 0. So you have BY minus R sub 2 is equal to 0. So kung kahibaw na kasi R sub 2, makukuha mo si BY. Dine, kung kahibaw ka sa H, makukuha mo si BX because here H is equal to BX. Okay. And upon getting the values of those, let's say we have AX, BX, equal na, no? AY, BY. So, makukuha natin si tension. Tension at A is equal to the square root of AX squared plus BX squared. And tension at point B is square root of bx squared and by squared. So that is how you're going to go to solve the problem class on uniformly distributed load without having these equations. Pwede kayo mo go over like this one, pero pwede nyo ma-avoid this. Pwede kayong do away from this. But then the answers must be correct. So yun, or must be the same. That is what I am telling you na pwede nyo i-free body diagram. Kahit gano'n yung kaninang problem, you can do away with trigonometric functions, just go over with the free body diagram and use the equations of equilibrium. Is it understood? So kahit hindi kini ang forma, makuha nyo rin ang answer by knowing the value of AX and the value of AY, BX, and BY. Okay? Yan ha. Any question? Kayo na bahala mag-manipulate class na equations because manipulation of equations can be learned from your basic mathematics. Okay? So, ani siya. Kakaroon tayo na ani. Okay? So, regarding your length of the cable, so this is the formula for exact analysis. The length of the cable is this one. And for the final analysis, there is also the length of the cable. So, by the way, class, I will just discuss this next meeting. That will be our next meeting. Kano sa next meeting, class? Makaingon kayo na, ma'am, sabi mo, ang virtual meeting natin ay kasara. O, depende sa inyo. Pwede kong i-discuss, pwede kong di-discuss pa kasi it should be the lesson for the week. If you are interested for me to discuss with you this uh, this length of the cables, the exact analysis and the final analysis, as well as the third case, we can have it. Pero kung hindi na ninyo gustong mag-discuss ako regarding this within this week, okay ran din ako. Okay ra good kayo na mag-focus lang kayo sa up to the tension. Pero parang gamay ra gud kaayo class ang lesson na yon. Tension lang and the rest concentrated loads lang, uniformly distributed loads. But then since we still have 20 minutes, atin kahit yun man lang length of the cable, okay? Para sa next week yun na lang isang case. Okay. So the length of the cable, kini siya. We have the exact analysis and we have the uh, approximate analysis. Konti lang ang difference niya. What is M? M is D over 2L. What is D? This is the distance from the support to the lowest point of the cable. Let's say, ani class, ano? Let's say this is the support. This is the lowest point. So, kini ang inyong D. So, regarding to length of the cable, pwede natin kunin ang segment na ni. Let's say this is S sub 1 and this is S sub 2 kasi hindi naman laging pareha si D. So, let's say sa S sub 1 na tayo D sub 1 na tayo ay X sub 1. So, let's say kini ang X sub 1. Gikan diri sa support up to the lowest point. And let's say this is X sub 2, gamitin natin X sub 2 at this is the D sub 2. Let's say hindi siya hindi siya coincide. So let's say this D sub 2. Then ang ating total length is S1 plus S2. Ano lang gawin natin? No? So we have M is D over 2L. Alin ang L? That is our length, the length of the cable. Okay. So vertical distance from the support to the lowest point of the cable, that is D, okay? L is the length of the span, okay? So that is how you're going to determine the length of the cable, approximate and exact. You can see na natay mga uh, dire, no? So, gagamit tayo ng ln. This is also a trigonometric function which is already in your calculator. So, there are also examples here in getting the length, no? Yung length of the cable. Then, we have also the arches. Okay? So, this material is good up to gusto ko sanang mag-discuss sa inyo sa Biyernes pero baka mareklamo kayo na makakadalawang virtual meeting tayo. So, therefore, hindi natin tutuloy ang discussion, ani. Okay. Or if you are willing, I'm also very interested to discuss it with you. Gusto kong ma-discuss ani sa inyo. Pero baka kayo magreklamo. Okay? So, we have here arches and cables problems. Ano yung mga problems? So, if you want me to discuss it with you on Friday, just text me or just send me a message. And if you do not want any more discussion, just study the learning materials. Is it clear to everyone? Sa nimang class, mag-discuss ba ko sa Friday? Or kayo nang bahala sa rest of the topic? Hmm? Can you hear me, class? Nanood to na ba mo? Baka naman kayo nanood to na dyan. Hindi ko alam.
Okay ra sabutan sa namo ma'am.
Oo. Sabutan nyo. Bahala kayo. Okay? Anyway, basta kung magmi-meeting tayo, Biyernes. Okay? Sige. Magsabot mo kung gusto niyo magpa-discuss sa akin. Kung hindi, so kayo nang bahala sa materials. Okay? So, that's all for today, class. And thank you very much. God bless. May I request Kristen Ray to lead the closing prayer. Kristen
Okay na,
Ray,
ma'am.
are you around?
Okay na.
Yes, yes.
In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord God, thank you for today. Thank you for giving us your blessings, for everything you have given to us today. And let enlighten, give, and let us be enlightened by our minds, our hearts, and thank you for everything. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Okay, class, may I have your open cameras for further documentation? Last documentation. Thank you very much for those who opened their cameras. So you may now leave the room and God bless. Just message me if you want to have more discussion on the topic. Okay? So God
Yes, ma'am.
bless class. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you,
God
ma'am.
bless,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am.